Hi, I'm Hartmut. We are here at DevOpsCon in Munich, and with me is Bledsoe from Accenture. Hi Greg, you just had a wonderful keynote about DevOps, the essence of DevOps, the culture of DevOps.
Yeah.
So perhaps you can start with the question, what is the essence of DevOps for you?
So the essence of DevOps is lean software delivery, taking the principles of lean manufacturing and applying them to software delivery. And that's a really key insight because DevOps has grown far beyond simply removing the wall between Dev and Ops. Now we are well into other spheres of waste that we're eliminating. Because lean is all about identifying waste and eliminating it. Identifying everything that doesn't provide business value and ruthlessly murdering it. And that is what we're doing in DevOps, really. And the first thing that we got rid of was the wall between Dev and Ops. And then we went towards the other hierarchical silos that were causing misaligned incentives. And misaligned incentives is the key cultural problem that inhibits DevOps adoption, because different teams have different incentives to accomplish different things. And DevOps really only happens when you remove the friction and waste of the hierarchical silo that misaligns incentives and reorients those towards a common goal, which is the business value. And when you do that and you start systematically removing all of the things that do not provide business value, all you're left with is the things that provide business value, and you're accomplishing those things much faster.
So I guess many companies start to trying out new concepts, start to try out these DevOps ideas. How should they actually start?
So the most common thing people do is they try DevOps tools. Is they say, well, we'll use Jenkins and we'll use Puppet, and then we'll be doing DevOps. And this is actually not true. And they wind up with these tools being used manually and independently instead of integrated, because integration requires collaboration. And collaboration doesn't happen when people don't have the same incentives. And so the first thing you have to do is form your teams around a common business goal, so that your team can share, and all the key stakeholders are on one team and they share a common goal. And this is the way to begin implementing DevOps. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the term that is well known, Kaizen,
yes.
Well known from the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Why is this concept of Kaizen becoming so relevant now?
Because we're rediscovering it. The concept is generally responsible for the Japanese manufacturing dominance post-World War II, when they were kind of reinventing their culture and adopting some of these new principles, empowering individual workers to identify problems so they could be fixed earlier in the process, because the most economical way to fix a problem is as early as possible. The longer a problem lingers in a production system, the more expensive it is to fix and the harder it becomes to fix, and there are rolling problems that come from that. So early feedback is key. And this is why we started with continuous integration. Once we had Dev and Ops collaborating, they realized that the earlier they could learn if it would build or not, the more value they would get, because they could fix the problems earlier. They could learn all the kinds of problems that prevent the build from completing, and learn to eliminate that problem. And then then you get to the point where your builds always work, right? And that is the basic principle of Kaizen, is embracing good change, continuous improvement. Kaizen literally translates to good change, but really means more of continuous improvement, continuously finding the problems, continuous root cause analysis, continuously learning from problems and failure. And that's really the essence of Kaizen. And that is the magic that has enabled us to do some of the amazing things that we do today with DevOps. Deploy every 11.6 seconds and 30 times increased speed of delivery with 120 times lower defect rate. All of these amazing things the statistics that we hear, are caused by embracing continuous improvement.
Yeah, we are always coming back to the culture, the company culture, the right culture. You said that culture is key, is the first thing to think about. Yes. Tools are not the real relevant part of it.
It really is that people, the tools are the easiest thing to control and the easiest thing to change and the easiest thing to understand, so that's where people naturally want to start, but it doesn't work. So then they think we can change the organization. So they have a DevOps team. But the DevOps team, the other teams that the DevOps team needs to work with still have their own misaligned incentives. And so you still can only get part way. And so then you have to go and attack the actual problem of the silos, the hierarchical silos creating misaligned incentives. And so you should start with a culture. Otherwise, there's a lot of waste that you have to learn from to get to the culture. But you can learn from other people's experience because we've already figured this out. Because we already know that you can't do it without the culture. And this is why we say with DevOps, it's people, process, tools in that order. You start with the people, you build a process, and you use tools to accomplish it, right? But the tools are the easiest and the least important element of that.
So probably any company has an existing culture,
yes.
Right? And in this context, there are new ideas, new concepts like DevOps.
Yes.
What would you suggest to a person willing to change something, to have this change of DevOps ideas implemented in place,
so
but we are struggling a little bit with management?
So basically, remember that a pebble can start an avalanche. And the way to boil a frog is gradually. Go for gradual, incremental change, which is really the nature of DevOps, is to gradually and incrementally make improvements. And you do that with your culture. You identify your allies, and you invite people in, you offer a positive alternative, you work on your soft skills, and you convince people, you share ideas, get them to read the books, get them to read the articles, get them to watch the presentations until they're believers, right? And you make one believer at a time, and before long you have a lot. And then you've created a groundswell of demand. And then you have people willing to engage in projects, right? Even if they're skunk works, right? Then you can demonstrate the benefits. And once you have demonstrable benefits, more and more people want to get on board. So you just gradually and incrementally keep plugging away in a very positive manner, and always speaking to other people's pain points of, I know that this is the problem that you have to solve. This is how we can solve that together, right? In a very positive and inclusive way. And this gets great results. This gets wonderful results. Eventually you get to the point where you can do a pilot project, where you can take something and implement a continuous deployment pipeline, demonstrate the benefits, and at that point, all the naysayers, they have no ammunition anymore. And now you have no reason not to do it. I always say that a successful pilot can drag an entire organization in its wake. But it takes a while to get there. You have to kind of work gradually towards getting that kind of willingness, right? Because you have to overcome some of those cultural inhibitors that have been stopping it to start with.
Okay, what would you say is your key message you had in your keynote, which any participant should take away?
Yeah, so the two big takeaways are, first of all, to do it in an all-positive way, an all-positive, all-inclusive, a vision-sharing way, not in a complaining, condemning, blaming way, and to continually invite people in to share the vision. And when you do that, you create a new positive thing for people to be involved in. It feels good. And this is essentially the way that you overcome people's unwillingness to risk, right? Because the culture makes it risky to adopt or embrace a change that is unwanted by management or not understood by management. And so you have to offer people a positive alternative to whatever they're doing now. And when they have a positive alternative that they believe in, that they believe will work, then they become evangelists for it. And eventually, even with no positional power, the entire culture can change. It becomes almost irresistible because you get a great enough number who want this that it almost can't be refused.
Okay, thank you very much,
All
Greg.
right. Thank
Enjoy
you.
the conference.
I will. Thank you.